there.
Hi Jacob, how's it going? Jacob, after your performance against Italy, do you go to Paris in a good frame of mind?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it was good to kind of kick off.
Okay, hold on a second. I think we've got a bit of a sound issue. Hold on a sec.
So I'm muted.
Yeah, we're live.
Is that better now?
Yeah, that's working, I think, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll just ask you that. So again, Jacob, after your performance against Italy, will you go to Paris in a good frame of mind?
Yeah, definitely I think so. It was obviously good to kind of get that return to the Six Nations and in a good way and a good way to start it. But we also are very aware of the fact that France away is a very different beast to Italy at home, and we're going to have to go over there and give them the respect that they deserve in that sense. But yeah, being able to kind of score a few tries, play some good attacking rugby, it definitely goes a long way to kind of building confidence for this week.
It is a different beast, as you mentioned there. We would have asked Irish teams in the past about the fear factor going to Paris. Is that there in this Irish team?
Yeah, look, I don't know whether fear factor is the correct term. We definitely respect them and we respect the ability with which they can play. But at the same time, we've had a number of good performances against France over the last few years, and we've got probably a good bit of return out of them in the last couple of years. So yeah, we're quite confident. When it comes to playing them as a team, but they're also in very good form at the moment. They obviously beat Wales well there at the weekend, and they're a different team than they have been in the past.
Jacob, you created and scored some really good tries as a team last weekend against Italy. Do you feel like there's still a lot more left in your locker in terms of what you need to do this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously we were happy with the way in which the game went, but I think as a team, and our ability to attack, I think we can definitely go to another level, and we probably will have to this weekend. Realistically, we want to be able to keep the game and the Six Nations in our control, which means looking at a bonus point away to France. So yeah, we were happy with the way in which we went, but there's definitely more we can work on and a further step to take.
You have played on the wing and scored a number of tries in that position. Can you just talk about Hugo Keenan? You trained with him for a long period of time over the last couple of weeks, and his performance last week and what you thought of him.
Yeah, I feel like he was maybe stealing a few of my tries in the 11 jersey, but Hugo's work rate is phenomenal, and he showed that in the game. For the disallowed try, if you kind of player cam him, he chases a kick. At 100% sprints back to when they kick it, and then realizes whenever the line break's made that he's on, and he turns and sprints back again. And people would look at that and say, oh, he's in the right place at the right time. But if you look at the work he's done leading up to that point, it's really, really impressive. But he's not just a hard worker. Like, he obviously he's a really strong finisher, and he showed that in his first try. And then again his work rate and his pace as well in the third try. So yeah, training with him has been really good. He's a really hard worker, on and off the pitch, and I've been really impressed with the way that he's committed to the team and committed to training.
Hi Jacob, hope you're well. I just wonder what you thought of your first game at fullback for Ireland, and what more you would like to see from yourself this week.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I did. I felt like I was able to kind of put my mark on the game, which I was pretty pleased with. But it's my first game, like you said, in that position, and there's going to be things to tidy up. Like, I think my backfield coverage could be a bit better, and probably making the right decision. When I'm kicking a few times. But outside of that, I was pretty pleased with it, and there's a few things that maybe I noticed that the general public don't notice that I want to work on, but yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with it.
and having enjoyed so much success in 2018, how much do you want to do it again this weekend? And win the championship.
To be honest, like I think wanting to win this championship, it doesn't really have anything to do with 2018, if that makes sense. Like every time you step on the pitch, first of all, you want to win the game. It doesn't matter if it's a league game in the middle of the season for Ulster, or if it's like a grand final week in the Six Nations. Every time you step on the pitch, you want to win, and yeah, like obviously I want to add as many trophies and as much silverware to my cabinet as I possibly can. So yeah, I'm definitely going out there with the expectation that I want to put in a performance that'll ultimately get us a bit of silverware.
Thank you.
You're pretty new to the 15 shirt in international terms. Do you think Fran look to test you?
Yeah, obviously looking at the way they play. Sorry. Obviously looking at the way they play, they have a very good kicking game. They've scored a number of tries off those contestable kicks, and it's cleaning up the scraps. They make a bit of a mess of it at the back. So yeah, I think that'll be a big challenge for me going into this week, is just dealing with those kicks in the air and dealing with their kicking game, and and trying to just keep it as tidy as possible at the back, because those are the kind of opportunities that they live off. Outside of that, I think they don't necessarily pose a massive threat, just for me personally, but for us as a team, and we're going to have to make sure that we are switched on the entire time. The entire time we're on the pitch, because they're masters at creating something out of nothing and scoring tries off the back of plays where you think that you have them pretty much shut down, and all of a sudden they throw a great offload and they're 80-90 metres down the pitch.
And maybe a quick word on Rob Herring, a player who said to be pretty patient in an Ulster shirt and an Ireland shirt. What's he bring to the team? Yeah,
look, Rob's, like you said, he's had to be pretty patient. I think when you say that, you feel like he's maybe somebody that doesn't have that much experience, but when you look at the amount of Ulster caps he's amassed, I think it's 180, 190 maybe. At the age of like 20, he might be annoyed at me, but I'm going to say 28 or 29. That's a really impressive amount of caps, and he's actually a very, very experienced player. What he brings to the side is a serious physicality and work rate. You see that the kind of choke tackle he made on the off the restart against Italy, and like that's the kind of thing that puts him in the team and makes him a very special player. So it's good that he's starting to get the recognition that he's deserved for a long time, and he's been exciting to play with for the last few years.
Jacob, how's it going?
Hey Pat.
Just googled Rob Herring there. He's 30, so you did him a favour.
Okay, geez, yeah, I was nicer than I thought.
I was just thinking about that. Like you're probably as good at it as somebody as Hugo was with that try of his getting chalked off for the blocking call. Like, but is that kind of move and you bursting through the line? Does that sum up in a way what you want to bring to that fullback position, that extra dimension you can kind of bring to the position?
Yeah, like that's something that I was really excited at. The prospect of playing fullback was that I was able to probably get a bit more opportunity to run the ball back and I suppose like in an ideal world create a bit of havoc for the defence on the other side of the ball. So yeah, I was pretty pleased. I was pretty pleased with how that went, and I can still definitely take it to another level. I was a bit frustrated with the call, to be honest. I thought it was a bit harsh. Because I don't think your man would have got anywhere near me even if he hadn't run into James Ryan. But sure, that's the nature of the game, and that's why the team was there, I suppose. But yeah, look, it was something that I was really excited about, kind of going into the Six Nations and the prospect playing fullback, and I was glad I was able to show it at the weekend. But like I've said before, like there's a lot to work on, and an opportunity to keep growing in the jersey.
And were you, at that game in 2018, through all those 41 phases, you were on the pitch at the end, weren't you, for those kind of those 41 phases, weren't you?
No, that's actually that's the only game I've ever been subbed off for. So it was. So maybe Joe knew something that I didn't. Like he thought that I wouldn't hit any rucks.
But yeah, just that kind of, Keane spoke a little bit about it yesterday, just kind of being on the bench with the lads from the front row and just that feeling of, Jesus Christ, we've done it. Like, can you remember back to like that feeling when Johnny knocked over that drop goal?
Yeah, I do. To be honest, like I'd say for me, it was a massive sense of relief. That was my first Six Nations game, and I didn't really want it to end. Losing to France, and fortunately, like I'd say those kind of 42 or 41 or 42 phases will go down in Irish rugby history. So. I was disappointed that I didn't get to be a part in the actual phases themselves, but it was great to be there and be able to witness that. And I think that moments like that and big plays like that are something that can kick off a Grand Slam moving forward. So yeah, it was pretty cool to be there and be a part of.
We'll take the last one there for Jacob.
Jacob, just when you talk about some of the things you have to work on, was the last Italy try, was that something that maybe was instinctive to you as a winger, that you maybe tried to pick off a pass or to cover somebody else, and maybe something that you will grow into in the future when you get more used to that position?
Yeah, I think that was something that obviously looking back I was a bit frustrated with. In those positions, it's a tricky one obviously because I can see a 2-on-1 coming at me, and I'm trying to make a play pretty much, but in hindsight that's probably an experience thing where I haven't really been in that position that many times, and it's probably a better decision to just try and rush Garbisi and make him make that pass, and hopefully you kind of rely on the fact that if you put him under pressure with that pass that he's not going to be able to put the other player away. So yeah, definitely that's something that I've kind of highlighted from the game and something that I'm going to work on moving forward.
Okay, thanks guys. We're going to switch into Caelan now. Thanks, Jacob.
Cheers, guys.